Thank you for taking a virtual tour of the Hemingway Hayes Radio Museum at WMPC. KMPC, Gospel 1230, first went on the air December 6, 1926. Reverend Frank Hemingway was the pastor of the Methodist Protestant Church, and that's where KMPC got its name. It wasn't long after those early radio days, the FCC mandated a change to WMPC. WMPC is the longest continuously operating Christian radio station in the United States. We've been very fortunate to have many original pieces of the radio station preserved in the Hemingway Hayes Radio Museum, located at the station's present location, 1800 North Lapeer Road in Lapeer. In the museum, you'll see some of our broadcast equipment from those early radio days, and the old radios people used in the 1920s and 1930s. Technology sure has changed since our first day in 1926. The museum has some great examples that span our first 75 years of broadcasting. The equipment sure is exciting, but the stories are even better. In the 1930s, WMPC was received by a listener halfway around the world in New Zealand. And more recently, in January 2012, WMPC was heard by a radio club in Finland. The best stories, though, are the ones when we saw God at work. In 1931, a group from Mount Clemens, Michigan, was looking to take WMPC. At the time, new radio station licenses were scarce, and the group made a claim that WMPC was not serving public interests. Reverend Hemingway made a plea for prayer and the funds needed to go to Washington, D.C. He was going to make his case and try to keep the station and its gospel programming. Prayer warriors went to their knees as the day of the planned trip drew closer. A local gentleman met with Reverend Hemingway the morning he was to leave for his trip to Washington and gave him the exact amount of money he needed to travel. The information Reverend Hemingway presented to the FCC was more than sufficient enough to show them that people were very interested in keeping WMPC just as it is. The Lord was truly at work. There's more to see in the Hemingway Hayes Radio Museum, and more stories to tell. We'd love to give you a tour of the museum and WMPC. To schedule a tour, just call WMPC at 664-6211. Thank you for taking the time to visit the Hemingway Hayes Radio Museum.